Okay, so I'm going to do a what if analysis here. This is one where the book has you build it yourself. And we have some details here. So we have a price of $40, a unit cost of $24, a fixed cost, and we have a demand. So the idea here is that, if we're selling something for $40, it costs us $24 a unit, we make a $16 profit. This is our overall initial fixed cost, so we have to make enough profit to make this back up. And this is, given this price, this is going to be the demand. And we can kind of put this into a model to calculate the revenue. So we have the unit price here, which is $40. We have how many that we actually are going to sell. And that's kind of the maximum available. And then we have the revenue. So the revenue is just the unit price times by the quantity sold. And then we have the unit cost, the quantity produced, and then we can calculate our variable cost. So this is how many we produce. So we got 40,000 here, and our variable cost is basically the number we produce times by how much it costs to produce a unit. Just a quick note on this variable here, which is the quantity sold, it's the minimum of the actual demand and how many we produce. We obviously can't produce more than the actual demand. So, and then we've got the variable cost, the fixed cost, the revenue. So the profit is going to be the revenue minus the variable cost minus the fixed cost. So what we want to do is we want to create something called a one-way table. And the one-way table, all it does is it takes one variable, gives different values of it, and then tries to calculate our revenue and our profit. So let's just type in a few values. So we want to calculate variable demand. And we want to examine a kind of profit for demand from 25,000 all the way up to 60,000 in increments of 5,000. So let's just put equals. And we'll just drag this down. That gets me to 60,000. And this is our demand. How many do we sell? Well, we can't sell more than the demand, and we can't sell more than we produce. So it's basically just going to be the minimum of the demand and how many we produce. And so we go down here. I know what I forgot to do. I forgot to dollarize my B18. And there we go. It's always good to make mistakes in these examples because then you can see what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so that's the demand, the quantity sold. Then we have the actual revenue. And the revenue is going to be the unit price times the quantity sold. Now let's not forget to use our dollar this time. And so we have $1 million of revenue if we sell 25,000. And we can't really sell more than 40,000 because that's like our production capacity. So our maximum revenue is 1,600,000. Okay, now our cost. And we're only varying the demand. We don't actually vary how many produce. We always are producing 40,000. So our cost is basically just going to be our variable cost from here plus our fixed cost. And again, need to make sure that we dollar as we're going to drag down. Drop that down. And then our profit is just going to be the revenue minus the cost. So we see here we don't make much of a profit. And we're going to go Control D to drag it down. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a border on that to make it look like the book. We're going to shade it to be very light yellow. Okay, and one thing to kind of note here is as we sell 40,000, we have basically any demand over 40,000, we have our best profit. Because basically we can't sell more than 40,000. Now it might be interesting, and we'll do that when we think about two-way tables to know this isn't a very informative model, how do we trade off demand and quantity sold, but this is just I think this from the book is just a way to introduce one-way tables. And just to give you there was a chart in the book which had demand versus profit. And in fact, I'm just going to select profit first and then insert a line graph. So we can see the profit, and then going to right click, select data, and put the horizontal axis as demand. Click OK, and we're going to call this, okay, we've got profit, and then we have our demand horizontal axis. And let's just add some chart elements, axis title, primary horizontal is demand. And on the y-axis, we have the profit. And we're going to call this what if chart for uncertain demand. Okay, so that is the one-way table example given on page 407 using the profit model data.